Hey guys, welcome back to Travel Check-ins with Saidah.
Hey, Germaine.
Today we're going to be talking about can moving abroad end your marriage? What?
Well, this is the thing, right? And it's more about just arguments in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
People act like they don't have arguments, but they do.
I know.
We just about almost had one a minute ago.
Some people love to say we never argue.
Well,
Is that
I
us?
I look up to you people. That's
Me too.
nah,
Give
I
me,
don't argue.
yeah, give us some pointers, right?
Yeah.
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 But Germaine, can you talk about some of the challenges of moving abroad as a couple? Like, what are some of the things that couples can face moving abroad? Because I know it can feel like really exciting to do it, but there are
Right.
some challenges, right?
Yes, it is. Um, I I think a main thing you have to do is you have to adjust like kind of your American thinking. Um, in America, you are afforded certain protections, especially ladies. Y'all got some
Have some
protections
privileges.
that you don't know. You don't have them here like that. It's a little different. You ain't gonna just go on here and call the police and they're just gonna be like, yeah, he did it. He's going to
And
jail.
automatically the man gets arrested,
Nah,
right?
that ain't really happening like that. I guess it could depend on who you run into,
Yeah.
but it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work the same here.
Yeah, so some of the challenges could be adjusting to new culture, and like here in Kenya, this is a patriarchal society. Some things are changing in the dynamic of marriages for Kenyans,
Yeah,
but as
yeah,
Americans and foreigners coming here, like some of the things like Jermaine was saying in America, um that we do can, I think, lead to some challenges in marriage.
right. Because you, when you move out of everything you know, you're in a pressure cooker.
Yeah, you do have this pressure that we, I think we talked about it being a culture shock because you don't realize the pressure is there.
Hmm.
Because it seems like the big dream, a big vacation.
Yeah, it's underlying things that you might not even notice there.
Yeah, they're very subtle. Um, so Jermaine, let's talk about some of the financial strains that could cause some issues.
The main one is probably if you don't have a written budget, right? If you come here, I definitely would recommend that because if you don't, what you're gonna have is one person saying, I don't think we could get that. And the other person say, well, you got what you wanted last week.
Mm-hmm.
You run into those kind of issues.
Right. So, like for Jermaine and I, we were budgeting already before we moved here. And budgeting and finances is one of the things that probably I would say cause us the most disagreements. That's the place where we have like the most of the disagreements, right?
Used to. Oh,
So
yeah.
and then so we've had to figure out, okay, well, how does budgeting look like to us? How does finances look like to us? And also even another thing that could be a financial strain is changing in work dynamics. So for Jermaine and I had already started practicing working together on our income streams before we came here. So Jermaine had he was a independent contractor, and then when we made the decision to come to Kenya, he actually started rolling back
Mhm.
from being an independent contractor, and then he got to being um, self-employed. And so we kind of practiced that before we came over. What about the gender roles in a new setting?
Well, that's definitely going to be an adjustment for a lot of people. It's one for me, but one I embrace. So,
Jermaine's more bossier since he been here,
nah, ain't
y'all.
no
And
bossy.
I'm not gonna really say bossier. He's just getting more in his patriarchal energy. And let me tell you guys, he was already in his patriarchal energy. Jermaine is a man's man, but he's even more now than he's ever been.
Man, the USA, I don't know about no man's man. It was just like here it's different though. I'm not going back to what I used to do before. That's out. I'm just not doing.
But you
Uh,
used
you know what I used to do before.
to
Like
compromise. You felt like you was doing too many
I
compromises.
do
Okay, but
to
I
the
mean,
detriment of both of us.
Jermaine, we've made some amazing strides in life. I
We did.
know that sometimes insist. And I know, like, especially in the beginning, you gave in on some of the things that just weren't wise.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you totally.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
But Germaine, we've been together, it's 20 plus years, 24, 25.
Yeah.
And this last 15 years has
Yeah.
been a vibe.
Yeah, it's been better, but still, it's like I did some things I wasn't supposed to do.
Oh man,
Now
y'all.
I'm on with my fellas here now.
And the thing is, I encourage Germaine to move to Kenya, and I really love being here. And I do love how I can be more of my feminine energy here. Not feminine energy, but more of my feminine characteristics. But
Sometimes.
Germaine, he done got really in his masculine characteristics, and it is taking some adjusting. Yeah. So the next thing we want to talk about as far as can moving to Africa and your marriage is family and social pressures. So I remember when we first moved here, there were some family issues that were just weird when we first moved here. On both sides, both your family side, my family side.
I don't know what you're talking about. We always have weird family issues.
I know, but we had some weird ones when we first got here. We'll talk about it off camera. But
Okay.
the whole point was we didn't allow those family issues to really impact us as much as sometimes they do when we're in the States. Would you say that?
Yeah, and I think when we were in the States, we kind of got off of that anyway.
Yeah, we started moving away from that and
Yeah,
kind of transferring.
everybody's got their own life, so hey,
Yeah,
we got ours.
yeah, because the thing is, like, we have parents, we have aging parents.
We got parents, kids, brothers. Well, we don't have sisters.
Yeah, neither one of us have sisters. But
Everything.
yeah, some of the pressures from back home, especially if you have siblings and maybe if you were the child, maybe if you're like the child who is primarily responsible for your parents, or you're like the go-to person in the family for solutions.
You know, I will say our brothers do take it easier. You know, all of our brothers kind of easygoing. Your brothers be like, all right, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
My brother's kind of the same way. All right, whatever. So that kind of, when you have siblings that kind of easygoing, it does make it easy on you. You don't have to worry about all that kind of drama. You know,
Yeah.
we don't really have dramas from our brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even really from our parents. Like your mama
No.
say, do you?
Yeah, it just sometimes we are concerned with our parents, concerned for our parents, I guess you would
Well,
say.
because they both are over 70 now.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. And so another family or social pressure that could cause some stress on the marriage is isolation and lack of a strong support system. Like, we have a pretty good support system here, and our support system actually talks us through what it's like transitioning and living in another country.
Right.
The culture shocks. Remember, we was going through it when we first got here. Remember, we were just kind of going through it for a minute.
You mean arguing?
Yeah. And
Definitely
then
right.
we were talking with a friend, and they were just kind of talking us through, like, basically we were experiencing culture shock.
Right.
It was some things that were just
minute things.
It was just these small things that was kind of getting on our nerves, like agitating us.
Right.
And
nothing big.
Yeah, it wasn't even
bunch
big
of
stuff.
Little small. That's the little cultural nuances sometimes that goes on that you don't really talk about. Like, I can't think of one right now, but
the groceries. Like, remember we was having a hard time figuring out meal prep and meal planning. That was getting a little annoying.
The adjustment on the food and the stuff like that. It's
not
just
being able to find certain things, like the power surge protector thing.
Yeah, I mean that there was
it's
just
little simple nothings.
It was just nothings, but nothings add up if you let them.
And especially if it's so many little things that you didn't have to kind of think about or worry about before. Mm-hmm. And then now you're having to think about them. They can cause stresses. So be mindful of that as a married couple moving to another country.
Right.
Because that helped us tremendously, I think, like pointing out. Because we used to be like, what are these people talking about all these culture shocks, right?
Right.
And we did a video on culture shocks, things that can be culture shocks. But it's these little things that can be culture shocks too.
Well, sometimes videos don't really do justice. I mean, because you can't go over all of the culture shocks in the video, right? Mm-hmm. You really have to, like, have conversations with people here or experience them for yourself. Because just watching a YouTube video, the best thing you could do is when you watch them, you know the culture shocks are coming if you come over here. But you're not really going to know what all of them are.
Right. And if you guys are a couple and you are thinking about coming to Kenya and you want to sit down and talk with us, want us to help you plan out your trip or help you plan out relocating to Kenya, we do have a link in our description. You can click on that and you can schedule a call with us. Um, One of the other social or family pressures can be like the impact of missing familiar cultural norms. Is there anything like you felt like you missed from our old life here?
Other than like family and friends, like
Like just kind of daily things, the way maybe you used to do things.
we no, because we started adjusting our life before we came here.
Mm-hmm.
So right, so we kind of no, I don't. At least me, I don't. I don't
Mm-hmm.
miss anything that I can think of. That basketball and stuff that I stopped doing that like a year before we came here. So nah.
I think for me, one thing I miss is like breaking bread with like people we love, like little other couples and stuff like that. You know, not
Okay.
being able to do that with them.
Yeah, I can see
I
that.
do kind of miss that. I like I being able to sit down and have a meal with like our friends back in the U.S. Um, because now you're not growing with them
Hmm.
and their kids and their families.
Yeah, because we got some friends right now. Their kids are getting older,
Young
and they don't.
parents,
They might
yeah.
not even know us really
I
after a while.
know. So that's one of the things, and that can cause some strain. And then one other thing that to me within our family structure, you and I, that kind of caused some strain was routines. I
Oh
struggled
yeah.
with getting a routine together here,
Hmm.
and I didn't realize it was agitating me and it was making me just feel uncomfortable. Like I like to get up and read my Bible. I love quiet time. I love time to myself. And I felt like when we were here, we were going 1,000 miles a minute. And I was like, man, like my mind is going, wow. And I think even trying to get the YouTube channel, getting a schedule together.
Yeah, this YouTube thing is aggravating. Sometimes still aggravating. I ain't gonna lie. But because you now we kind of have a like a partnership to a certain extent. It's not really just a husband wife kind of thing, but
Hmm.
you can't really separate that either.
Yeah.
So that can be aggravating sometimes. But I mean, the best thing you could do is kind of make yourself a schedule.
Yeah.
Like that's what we did. I think this that helps.
Yeah, but definitely working together. And like Germaine and I spend a lot of time together. And if you guys are a married couple and you are moving to another country, you will probably end up spending quite a bit of time together, maybe even more time than you
Man,
were spending in the
probably
States.
99% of the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
so
gonna be more than the states.
yes, so you definitely have to get communication and conflict under control. So the next thing, oh, and that's our next topic. So as far as um, can moving to Africa end your marriage? Definitely, if you don't have communication and conflict resolution, right?
Oh yeah, I can definitely see marriages ending here. I mean,
Yes.
coming here, I'm be honest with you, coming here ain't no different than being in the States if you just talk about marriage wise.
Yeah.
So actually, it could be worse.
Right, because the stress of being in another country can actually amplify existing issues. So if you
Right.
already have some issues in the States,
Yeah.
they can just seem even bigger when you get here.
Right.
Yeah, and also navigating cultural misunderstandings. So we had already been to Kenya several times, so I already knew it was a patriarchal society.
Right.
But if somebody doesn't know that and they come here, they could maybe feel a certain kind of way, especially as a woman.
Yeah.
Um, Oh, can you talk about clear expectations before relocating? Because that was one of the things that Jermaine and I kind of struggled with that first maybe 2 months. Having clear expectations. I think you had some expectations of things that you wanted me to do, and I wasn't on the same page with you.
Like,
Gym, so many meetings.
listen, the gym thing, I was going to talk about that when we get to the States or here. I'm not. Especially as some people from the U.S. I'm a big gym person because that's going to take a
I
lot of
am
that.
too, guys.
You getting back there?
It was the anemia. So the anemia gets me down sometimes because of the iron.
Sometimes, yes.
Cut it out, Jermaine. I done worked out all the years you knew me, 20 some odd years.
Man, before this year, you went like a year and a half.
That's because I had anemia. Remember, my iron was low.
And you went to the doctor for anemia.
Jermaine, let's talk about the clear expectations
All right,
expectations
that's
before
what I'm talking
relocating.
about.
So gym,
Right. And what the other one you said?
and the other one was like so many meetings. You wanted me to go to meetings all the
Oh,
time.
wait, man.
But did we come to a conclusion and agreement?
I mean, yeah, somewhat.
Yeah, we kind of talk things through, right?
Yeah.
So you got to have understanding in marriage. And I think for the most part, you have to just be committed. Like Germaine and I haven't been married. How long we been married?
So, I mean, officially since like '01, I think.
So we haven't been married all these years by happenstance. We are very intentional about even if there are, even when, not no if, even when there are challenges in the marriage, we are committed to being married to one another, right?
That's true.
That is true. You're not going nowhere,
Mm-mm.
and I ain't going nowhere. You can't get rid of me.
I mean, I'm old anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, you old too.
I know. So anyway, so the next one is personal growth and growing apart. And I think that kind of that whole being committed kind of segues into that because I think you have to be committed to staying together. It's easy to grow apart, right?
Again, coming to Africa, Kenya, either one, is not an elixir. It's not gonna solve your problems for you. So if you growing apart in the States,
Mm-hmm.
you're probably gonna grow apart here.
Yeah.
Only thing I could say that may change that is if you have negative influences in the States.
Oh yeah.
Now, okay, if you have that and then you come here, okay, well maybe that stuff will stop. But if you're just a normal couple, that you don't let outside people like influence you,
Mm-hmm.
and you have problems, man, this ain't gonna fix it just by coming here.
Right, because what's going to happen is there's going to be like when there's problems and conflicts, there's going to be some resentment about coming, especially if the one person didn't, it wasn't that person's idea. They
Yeah.
might say, "Man, I should have never came out here with you," and they might start feeling trapped in it. Did that resonate with you?
Wow.
Feeling
Listen,
trapped in the decision.
I ain't never said I shouldn't have came.
Yeah.
I just said keep on. I'm going on.
So yeah, these things can definitely happen, guys, and we want to share this information with you because it's real. Like
Yeah.
we want you to not just if you're thinking about moving to Kenya or visiting Kenya or whatever, right? We want you to not just come and then your marriage end because it can happen. It can
Right.
really happen. Like Germaine said, this is not a solution to marriage, right? The problems you had in the US, you're going to have those problems when you come here.
Right.
And you're still going to have to work on them. And then they can also be magnified when you come here.
Listen, we love each other, but this ain't make believe land.
No.
Right? So if you like, we have issues too. We just kind of know how to deal with them. So make sure you have a plan in place for these
Right.
things if you come over here as a couple. I mean, if you already over here, you're in the States, you need a plan in place regardless.
Right, exactly. And also, make sure you like this video for the YouTube algorithm. And then if you have any questions or comments, drop them down in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel because we are going to be doing a follow-up of this video to share some solutions. So we've shared with you the things that can end your marriage when you move to Africa, but we're also going to share some solutions with you on how to keep your marriage together when you are living and traveling abroad. Anything else for people, Germaine?
That's it for me.
All right. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we will catch you in the next video. Bye.
All right.